Peace and blessings. My name is Carlos Walker, and this is Art and Hustle, Black Authors Matter. And today I got Mr. Tony Lewis Jr. How you doing, sir?
What's up, brother? I'm well, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing perfect, man. Look,
Yeah.
the
Good.
fact that we still here is everything to me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I agree, man. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you for coming on. So, if you will, before we start, share a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Okay. Tony Lewis Jr., native Washingtonian. For the past 25 years, I've stood at the intersection of poverty, mass incarceration, and gun violence, and trying to help people navigate their way through, trying to help our people thrive economically, and to be safe in community. All of my work has been in that sort of wheelhouse. And I've had, local and national impacts in those spaces.
So, one, I do want to thank you for everything you do, uh, because you standing in the gap for people has meant a lot for not just your community, but for those who are watching you,
Yeah, I
and that's
appreciate it.
outside of your community.
Yeah. Thank
Shout
you.
out, man. So, the name of your book is
Yeah, the name of my book is called Slug, A Boy's Life in the Age of Mass Incarceration. Just for some context, Slug is my nickname. It's been my nickname since I was a little boy. My dad gave me that name probably I was like, 2, 3 years old. And it was Slugger at first, but you know how the hood do. So that's my name. And the subtitle, A Boy's Life in the Age of Mass Incarceration. Um, and Slug is a memoir. I was born in 1980. So I feel like, I've grown up in the age of mass incarceration. In the book, in my opinion, my bias, my biased opinion, right, is the most comprehensive look at mass incarceration in this country and what it does, not just to the people that go to jail, but, the family and hence the community. And I think, Slug is not only my story, though, it's the story of millions of Americans, man. And so um, I um, I wrote it in an attempt to reach people, a broader audience, than the folks that I work with directly every day, right? And I felt like I was uniquely positioned to reach people that others couldn't reach, and I felt like my story also held a mirror up to the country in a way, to talk about the variables and the environmental factors that lead to certain things, and also, and most importantly, I think that you still can triumph despite that. I ain't never been to prison. God, by God's grace, I ain't never been shot by God's grace, and ain't a white person come and save me. And I don't say that in any type of disparaging way. But my point is, I did everything I did, from my block, and I felt like my story was important to be shared, to give hope that things can happen, and that to really shine a light on how the people in my life, my family members, um my dad, my uncles, my aunts, my community members, everybody around me was involved in the street, but they helped create me. A lot of the things that I'm applauded for, my community concern, my compassion, all of the things that my generosity, my philanthropy, if you will, all of that was really me emulating what I saw them do. And so I thought it was important to raise that up, to show that. And I think Slug, does that. And clearly, again, I'm biased, but I encourage people to read it, man. It's a lot there.
so. One thing that comes to my mind when I hear everything you just shared with me: roses do come from concrete.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
Look,
man.
when I think about you, made me think about Tupac's poetry
Yeah,
and how you said where you came from, no matter what they were into or what the environment showed, you grew from it. But not only that, you also got a bunch of nutrients from it.
yeah,
Philanthropy. I guarantee you probably seen some of those people and give. You see what I'm saying? A
it's
lot
no
of the
doubt
stuff
about it.
a lot of the things that you do today came from because of what you had seen.
That's
You wouldn't
right.
be the person that you are, and that book actually speaks on that.
Yeah, man.
So,
Absolutely.
what has your journey been like as an author?
Man, and I do want to. So I am an author, because of this book, right? And the life guide that accompanies it. And I mean, since then, I've written an op-ed and I've written a few other things, being honest. But I don't fashion myself like I'm a reentry expert. I'm a community leader, right? I don't fashion myself as a writer, and I don't ever want to disrespect people that's their profession. But I do think, the journey of trying to get Slug published, man, it just taught me a lot. Which Slug, the last sentence was written 12 years ago. I put it out 10 years ago.
Okay.
And but for that 2-year period in between the last sentence being written and me putting it out myself was me, getting signed by Jennifer Lyons Literary Agency in New York City, and really shopping Slug to every major publishing house in the country, and not getting a yes. Everybody said no. People applauded the writing, applauded the story. Some people questioned, was it true? Was this a novel or memoir? But in 2012, 2013 and 2014, I guess my platform wasn't big enough that people thought that it would sell, right? So by 2015, like, again, it was so mission driven for me that I decided, along with my co-author Kevin Reeves, that we was gonna put it out ourselves, man. So I grew up on Hanover Place, so I thought Hanover Place Press would be the best name to publish the book under, and that's what I did. And 10 years later, every 29th of the month, I get some kind of check, some type of royalty from Amazon. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, and I say that to say, I mean, it could be $12, it could be $1,200, it depends on the month. But the reality of it is, sometimes if you believe in something enough and you know what you got to trust that, man. But for our stories, sometimes, particularly because it's not marred purely in just drama and trauma. That stuff is there clearly, right? I always say that to people, like, it's sex, drugs, and rock and roll in my book, but there's also positivity. But sometimes people don't think that when our stories are positive, that people want to read it. But they also think that whatever we produce is only for us. And I feel like Slug is a human story, it's in 10 years it has been out, though. I mean, from it being used at the university level, in classes across high schools and juvenile detention centers, and just your everyday reader. It's reached a wide range of people, and it's inspired people from all walks of life, and for that, I'm incredibly proud. But I do think that even to this moment, to right now, I still don't think that Slug has had the level of exposure that it deserves. So, yeah, man.
One, I commend you for not giving up and not even caring whether somebody picked it up or not. You decided to put it out on your own.
Yes, sir. Yep.
To me, self-publishing, I'm a self-published author as well myself, and I didn't even try to get anybody to pick my book up. Mine is too controversial in my mind. I probably got the most controversial book in America. Look, hey, I feel like I might be biased.
Yeah.
But to know that you cared enough about what God placed in you to put it out is what matters. And you didn't just sit on it, and you didn't care whether somebody else done it or not. You decided to step out and put this thing out. And guess what? You have been blessed by it. Others have been blessed by it. And because of that, it's going to continue to do what it's supposed to do. And the exposure that it's going to get in time is going to be everything you're looking for.
Yeah, appreciate
I was
that,
told we're supposed to be fruitful and multiply. As long as you keep putting that book forward and you keep just speaking about it, putting it in certain places, it's going to take off at one time, at some point, because every tree produces a certain amount of fruit, and you're a tree. This book is just one of the fruits that you produce.
I appreciate that, brother.
So,
And I receive that, man. Thank you. Thank you.
Look, hey, anytime I get to see an author, I always reach out to people because I'm for Black authors.
Yeah.
I'm for Black
We
readers,
gotta
Black
keep,
authors.
man.
Look,
And it's
I
important,
push.
man. We gotta keep telling our stories. We gotta keep lending our perspective to issues, man. It's so important, right? And that's rather it's fiction or nonfiction. I just feel like it's important. And so many times I think really what we run into is that, believe it or not, other people think they understand us, man. It's the most amazing thing. Like, or that they could talk about us better than we could talk about ourselves. I mean, it's incredible, but
We
that's
almost
really,
let them run the narrative, and we are the narrative.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's one of them situations where I think, um, if a person watch enough music videos and YouTube, or movies, and they think they got us figured out, and that because of course we a monolith, right? We all the same in people's mind. That's
In people's mind.
so that's why when they read Slug, or what I'm saying, they say, well, what about thought? I ain't damn, you come from the hood, your father a drug dealer. Like, how can y'all have a good relationship? How can you see your father this big drug dealer, but how can in the book you talking about all the good things that he taught? Like, for people, that's dissonance. They don't it's like they can't process,
You
what I
trying to
mean?
part one person, and that doesn't mean that that one person didn't do some things that you know
Yeah, you
to
can,
survive.
right.
But guess what? That
I'm
doesn't
like,
mean it wasn't a great father as
yeah,
well.
man. There you go. There you go. But we don't get nobody really talks about our familial relationships, in that way, right? You know what I'm saying? Because in most people's minds, if you from where we from, you know what I mean. You and your father, you don't even know your father. Your father ain't got no relationship with you, or he let or like all of those things. And so it's like, that's again, that's why I know the importance of of Slug, and what it's meant to people, how it's made so many people feel seen, and like, that's how I felt. And then clearly, like, my mother's schizophrenia, and what I talk about in terms of growing up, with dealing with her situation, and us dealing with that as well. So many people come up to me just randomly in the street, man, like, bro, like, I ain't, a lot of people hear about my dad or whatever, but like, man, I ain't know your mother, man. My mother like that, what I'm saying? And so, or just growing up, dealing with losing your friends, so early as children, losing your
Hmm.
friends, the gun violence, and being dealing with that, and all of the things that so many people can relate to, but seeing it from a very honest and real place, I think has been incredibly therapeutic for folks who have read Slug as well. So, again, man, I'm very proud of that, and that was my prayer. I prayed that,
Come
you know
on now.
that the book would be able to get in people's and had that impact on them. You know what I'm saying? Like, so everything after this is ice cream and cake. And remember, I'm a decade in. You know what I'm saying? July 31st, 2015 is when the book came out. So, you know,
I got an
yeah,
idea. Me and you are brainstorm. I think I got a way. Youth need to really read this book.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
high school students, middle school students really need
yeah.
to tap into this book. But I got a few ideas. I'm gonna run them by you, so in
Okay.
the end we can brainstorm and see how we can get these books into more youth's hands.
Yeah, man. That's a bet. And over the last 10 years, I've been in probably about 120 middle and high schools here, and different places in the country. But I feel like, for real, I think I would love to brainstorm about it, because I think Slug just really needs to be, I feel, require reading. And not just
Yeah.
Slug. There's a lot of other books, from Black authors that I feel like need to be a part of the canon, if you will, right? Like, if our babies reading Catching the Rye,
Come on.
they should be reading B-side from D. Watkins. You know what I'm saying?
That's my man.
Yeah, real. You know what I mean? It's just like certain stuff like that. Like, that should just be a part of, again, for all students, not just Black students, but like,
Mm-mm.
it should be a part of the canon. Because what we really are bringing forth, is in so many ways, American history, right?
Come on.
It's it's an anthology of like what happens in this country, right, to a certain set of people. And it's like, I think now more than ever, books like Slug and others are just like so important. I was having a conversation though just about the power of books. I was talking to a guy the other day just on some random stuff, a homie, and he was telling me when he was locked up that he read the other Westmore, right?
Hmm.
Right. So, and it was kind of funny because he was saying how it ain't really dawned on him that the governor of Maryland currently is Westmore. That it was
Mhm.
this, it was just like it was the same person. He was like one day he just said, "Hold up, man, that's the same dude from." But the book had such a profound impact on him. You know what I'm saying? He was quoting the joint and talking about different because I read the book too before. So, but it's just stuff like that. Like now that guy who wrote that book really around the same time I released Slug. You know, he's now the governor of Maryland, probably be the Democratic nominee for the
For
2028
president.
president. I mean, it's a possibility. So, you know, for young people in general in this country, they need our stories are important, man. That's all I'm saying.
Um, to your point, and I always tell everybody this: our ancestors are rolling in their grave with joy because
Yeah.
we're able to. They couldn't read nor write at one time.
Mhm.
Here we are, writers, readers. We are doing things at exponential levels now that they couldn't even foresee.
Yeah, man.
And for me, to be able to see black authors, me, you, and so many others, is profound to me. So one, I want to tip my hat to you for that, for going through your journey and not giving up. And hey, I can't wait to see what you're about to do with this book, because this book is still surfacing.
Yeah, man. And you know what's crazy, Carlos? Like I'm saying, and, you know, most of Slug is really about me and my dad's really holding on to our relationship. And it, again, it ends in 2013 at the birth of my oldest daughter. But at the time, I mean, my father was still incarcerated with life without parole.
Book two
And
about to
so,
come out.
in 2023, yes, got to. We got
Book
we
two
gotta
about
end
to come out.
it. So you know what I'm saying? Like it's definitely I think about all that I've done, even professionally since 2013. The last 12 years, man, I've done things I had never even thought about around in terms of impacting policy and legislation and get my dad out of jail, I got married, I had another kid, all of these things that happened since the end of Slug. So part two be crazy.
Let me ask you a question, and you ain't got to answer it, but I'm just gonna throw this out there. I know you plan on running soon, right?
Nah, come on, man.
Man, look, I got to put the weight on you. Look, hey, I got to put the weight on you. Look, you have
Uh,
done, you have
no, I
done so much.
appreciate that, bro, but I don't know,
Man,
man.
come on, look, let's just be honest. Look, you done done the community work. Who else but best to run? Then,
I
hey,
appreciate that, bro. I do, man. I appreciate that big time, brother. I can't.
like I was just saying, I know soon. Hey, look, hey, I just got to put that out there. Look, you can think about it, let that ponder. I don't know if anybody
Yeah.
else ever told you that, but let
Nah,
that
I get that all the time, but I don't know if I'm a politician, but man, we don't know what the future holds, bro.
look. You change policies without being. If
True.
that ain't a politician, I don't know what you call it. We're
Mm.
gonna let that set. But if you will, share with the people where they can find your book.
Okay.
And then last, I want a word of wisdom for anybody, whether they're going through something, whether they just starting their book, whatever the case may be. Give me a word of wisdom for somebody to just to shift them.
Bruh, so you can find Slug pretty much anywhere books are sold digitally, but definitely Amazon will be the easiest place where you can go. And then you can follow me on all platforms. Mr. Tony Lewis Jr. And what I would say to anybody out there pursuing, you know, uh, writing, getting the book out there, getting their art out there, man, is the most important thing to do. And I mean, you really got to believe in your craft and believe in yourself because it's going to be no's, it's going to be obstacles and challenges, but you can get it done. And you cannot always wait on the pat on the back from people, man. And sometimes it be the people closest to you that can't see it, but they will. You know what I mean? They can't see it now, but if you do it, they will. So that's what I would share with people. Just move forward in spite of whatever obstacle, because it's a certain joy that comes along with you being able to really manifest a thought, manifest a dream, and it becomes something tangible, particularly like a book that you can feel it. Like a book, you can touch it. You know what I mean? You can do like this and fill the pages, man. There ain't nothing like it, and it's yours, and it's there forever, and it'll be here even when we gone. So
Look, once again, I appreciate you, man, just for taking the time to do this.
no, thanks, Carl.
Uh,
Appreciate you having
it
me,
means
bro.
a lot to me. And tell your pops I said what up. I
We'll
remember
do.
when I first met y'all. It was at a at an event
MLK
in
at the MLK
DC.
library.
Yep,
Yeah, we was on the
yep.
roof. Yeah,
And
you ain't think I
yo,
remembered that.
yeah,
Yeah, but
look,
I remember that. Yeah, for
and
sure.
it blew my mind because I knew him, legend. I met you and I learned about your legacy, the legend that you have become.
Yeah, I appreciate
And
it.
for me, it was a moment. So I appreciate you. Look, what I'm gonna do, we locked in. I'm gonna see how I can we can build and make this book even legendary.
Yeah, let's do that, man. All right.
Look, I love you, bruh.
Are you back?
And my name is Carlos Walker. This is Art and Hustle, Black Authors Matter, and this is Mr. Tony Lewis Jr. Blessings.